Hi, everyone, and welcome to Golf's Next Gen, the official podcast of the American Junior Golf Association. My name is Tim Jackman. That is Thomas Harrison. Justin is over there, the producer behind the camera, and we have our, our production assistant, Hayden, back over there now today, too. So our staff is growing.
What a welcome.
I know. Look at that, the shout out. She's turning red. But thank you for joining us on another episode of our podcast. We have a phenomenal guest coming up later today. Brad Dalke, with good. I mean, the things that he's done and the things he's been able to experience are awesome. Got a lot of great advice, hopefully, for our junior golfers. But Thomas, how are we doing?
Doing great, Tim. We're excited to be back on our first episode post-Masters. So that's obviously one of the biggest weekends in golf. Just wanted to get your thoughts on how the weekend played out.
I always like to cheer for AJGA alumni, but if I were to choose somebody who's not an alumni to win and get the career slam, Rory is probably the one I would choose. You just gotta feel good about him and getting that career slam. And the emotions on his face that's just phenomenal.
Yeah. I think you saw what it meant to him. And I feel like it's very rare in sports that like an entire fan base of a sport can kind of come together around something. And I don't think there was anybody who was like anti-Rory winning the Masters. Right. Like very, very seldom do you see the entire golf world is on board about something. I feel like the golf world loves to be like divided on topics or loves to get into the heated debates, and everyone was just pretty much in agreement. Like this was a cool moment. Like golf needed this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think especially when you start thinking about the stuff that he's gone through and the times he's been close and not been able to do it. So just such a cool experience. Did you get to see him? I know you went down there. Did you get to see him play at all? You went Friday?
Yeah, watched him a little bit. Did a lot of following our boy JT around. Obviously, big fan of what he's done with the AJGA. Always fun to see him and his family. Mike, obviously one of our guests, to hang out with him a little bit. But seeing him tee it up and on 10, just watching him hit just a mammoth drive just around the corner there was something to behold. Just the entire group in general. It was just fun to watch those guys because you've got, everyone at the Masters obviously is playing a high level of golf, but there's something about just being at Augusta and seeing like Rory walk down the fairway is at this point, this generation, like what you get to kind of watching Tiger come down those fairways.
As close as you can get, probably. Yeah, speaking of JT, got the dub back in the winner's circle, so I was excited to see that too here a couple weeks ago. So always happy to see him do well, especially like you said with everything he's done for the AJGA. So, one thing we should definitely ask Brad about is this gorilla man conversation thing that's all over social media right now. So we'll definitely have to ask him about that. I'm sure you have some good thoughts there.
Very invested in this stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure that you are. I think that we had the President's Cup captains were also just recently announced here. So for Medina, so that's pretty cool. Brant Snedeker and Jeff Ogilvy were announced there. So any thoughts that stick out to you?
No, I think it's very cool knowing that obviously our involvement in that event with the Junior President's Cup and working hand in hand with the tour there, that we'll be at Medina, not on the same tournament course, but we'll be playing there just shortly before the actual President's Cup kicks off. Is something to very much be excited for here in a couple years. So obviously Medina, just unbelievable venue with all the history, but not often that you get that opportunity to be on site. And again, we'll talk about some of our events coming up and everything we've got, but this is the chance for our top boys to kind of be right there. And so very, very cool. Looking forward to it. I think they'll be good captains. I think Snedeker was a good pick for Team USA. Obviously, they've had some kind of dominance there, so he's got a little bit of work to do, but things have been closer in recent years than they maybe were in the past. So the international team, I know there's going to be a lot of excitement there coming up in 2026.
Yeah, Medina's phenomenal. Last year I was able to go kind of right after they finished the renovations and stuff. And that's just going to be that setup that they're going to have there is just phenomenal for just watching golf. And if you're a fan of golf, it's going to be a really cool setup to be able to experience the hole that they're using as the first tee, which isn't actually their first hole, is just the way that it's kind of set up there. They're gonna be able to have the grandstands and everything like that. It's just gonna be so cool to experience. So definitely looking forward to that for sure. Well, I think we could probably get into it with Brad. We're excited to chat with him, so we'll go ahead and get him on here. Brad, thanks so much for joining us today.
I'm doing great. I appreciate you guys having me on, and excited to excited to do this.
Yeah, we were looking through your kind of AJGA results. I mean, 5-time Rolex Junior All-American, went to Oklahoma, bunch of wins, appeared in a ton of invitationals with us, a lot of different stuff. So you were certainly had quite the storied AJGA career and the connection to the AJGA.
Yeah, I mean, AJGA was just one of the most fun times of my life, and when it comes to golf, so many great memories. And I was lucky enough to, kind of get in that invitational level pretty early. I think when I was, 13, I played my first invitational at the Thunderbird, and so luckily I got like 6 years of playing invitationals, playing with the top juniors in the world, and made a lot of great memories that I'll have for a lifetime. A lot of the guys are on the PGA Tour now. Scotty, um, Davis Riley, Sam Burns, all those guys are my best buddies I made through the AJGA, and obviously now they're killing it on the PGA Tour, and yeah, just it's some of the best memories ever I have in my golf life on the AJGA.
Oh, it's good to hear that you have all those great golf memories, and glad that you've turned that into making more great golf memories. You might be having more fun than anybody out there doing everything you are with Good. So why don't you, Brad, just tell us a little bit about how everything kind of started for you with Good, and how obviously that's grown and really just taken off here in the past few years.
Yeah, so it's been a crazy ride. It's been so much fun, and it all started. I was doing pro golf after college. I did 3 years of pro golf in my game. Lost my swing, lost couldn't hit a driver, couldn't hit an iron. I was playing just not very well for 3 years, and I was kind of at the very last part of financials. Obviously it's very expensive to do pro golf, especially when you're not making too much money on the back end. And I was kind of at that point where, like, all right, I'll give myself one more go at Canada Q School, PGA Tour Canada, and then if that doesn't work out, then I need to go figure out college golf coaching or some other job, start making some money. And luckily, a couple months before the PGA Tour Canada Q School, the good guys showed up to Oaktree National, where I was playing at in Edmond, Oklahoma. And I was on the putting green. I was talking to Luke Kwan, who was part of the group at the time, and Garrett, kind of the face of Good. He asked me if I wanted to join for a video. I was like, sure, why not? That'd be, sounds like a fun time. And that just kind of started that relationship, and they liked me right off the bat, and I feel like I fit in pretty well with the group. And at first, it was just kind of a sponsorship thing, and then once I didn't get through Q School, went on a couple more trips with them, and all of a sudden, kind of turned into a full-time gig. So it was a very natural way it all kind of happened, and super thankful, that it happened, because if it didn't, I'd be doing a normal job instead of getting to travel around the world playing golf on camera, and just have a great time. A lot less pressure, a lot less stress, and I still get to play golf at some of the best courses in the world. So it's been a blast.
We were watching some of your videos, and one recently that we thought was pretty good was you trying all the different Diet Cokes, which was a great video. So it kind of sparked some of us. We try to do kind of different fun things. So we were thinking about, all right, well, let's do a soda draft. So I'm gonna give you 3 picks, and I want you to do it, and then I'll give Thomas here a second too, and I'll do it. But I'm gonna give you 3 picks. Let's give me your top 3 soda picks in a draft.
Well, Diet Coke is the apparent
Obviously.
obvious number one pick. Here, let me turn on Do Not Disturb. I'll do it in a second. I'd say that's one, and then 2 would probably be. I'm a big diet guy. I don't want to waste calories drinking soda. Still not good for you, but the calorie wise, it's better. So I'll go Pepsi Zero, not Diet Pepsi. Pepsi Zero for number 2.
That's kind of bold going from a Coke to a Pepsi there, 1-2.
It is, yeah, it is. I'd say that's probably number 2, and then 3. I'll go non-diet for number 3, because I do, every once in a while I'll have a regular soda. I'll do Bart's root beer. I'll do a crazy one. Probably wouldn't think it, but Bart's root beer, the best root beer brand, in my opinion. So I'd say Diet Coke, Pepsi Zero, Bart's root beer.
There it is. The root
That's
beer.
cool. I'm sure we'll get some input from Tim here, but he's quite the root beer connoisseur himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shameless TikTok plug for Tim, have the root beer guy over here. But
That's right.
Love
no,
it.
it's I like it. It's the, like you said, the pivot back and forth from Coke to Pepsi is kind of bold. Obviously, being in Atlanta here, those are it's tough for us. I think we might be out on the streets if we were to mention Pepsi, but
Yeah, that's true.
I think if I had to pick my three, I'm going Dr. Pepper one. Big Dr. Pepper fan.
Okay.
Don't drink a lot of soda in general, but if I do, sometimes you just get like the Coke Freestyle machine, and I see that, and I'm like, oh, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Go there.
I just want to say I hate the Coke Freestyle machines. Maybe a hot take, but they all taste like orange to me whenever you get something out of there.
I think two, bold take. I know, again, Tim, the root beer guy, not a fan. Dad's root beer. It's my number two. Love Dad's root beer. That was like the Midwest staple growing up. And then three, I think I'm just going a nice Sprite, like the nice cold Sprite. Sometimes you need that little refresher.
I like that pick. I like that's a good third round pick right there.
Yeah, there's value.
There's a lot of value.
I was gonna make that
The first clear soda off the board feels like a steal.
okay, because I'm gonna go Coke Zero as number one. Like definitely, I used to like regular Coke, but then once you kind of get older, you got to start making some changes. So I went the Coke Zero number one, I think for sure. Number two, I'm probably gonna go with a Beta root beer. It's a little bit smaller of a brand that you may not have heard of. It's available nationwide though, so you can go check it out. And then number three, I don't know. Every once in a while on a plane, and this is the only time I'll like ever drink this, but on a plane, I love a good ginger ale. And it's kind of random and out there, but I like a good ginger ale on a plane. There's just something about it. It settles the stomach and the nerves a little bit, and just kind of calms you down. So
you a nervous flyer over here, Tim?
I mean, if you're not a nervous flyer, then I feel like you're probably lying. Like, doesn't everybody get a little nervous? Flyer. See?
Yeah. See, I'm the opposite. I sit down before we're done boarding. Like sit down, I'm totally dead asleep. Like if I'm in the exit row, they've got to wake me up to be like, "Hey, are you aware you're in the exit row?" Like I don't know where I am. I'm dead asleep right now. So
yeah, I could be dog tired right before the flight, getting to the flight. Then as soon as I like sit down in my seat, the nerves kick in and I'm wide awake. It could be a 5 a.m. flight and I'm wide awake as soon as I sit down. So yeah, not a great flyer on
I mean, I've like when I flew to Australia a couple years ago, and it was like a 15-hour flight, and I was pounding the Benadryl because I was like, "There's no way I'm gonna be able to sleep unless I don't, do something." So, but I love the ginger ale. But yes, root beer. I'm a big fan of root beer. As Thomas mentioned, I have a TikTok account where I review them, so it's a good time.
Check that out. I didn't know you had that. Yeah, I'm a big root beer guy too. I don't have it much, but when I do, I love me some good root beer.
It's one of those things that you can kind of go anywhere you go. You're able to kind of find a different one or something unique about just kind of the different places you are, which is kind of cool.
Definitely.
Especially when you travel a lot. So,
yeah.
Well, love Tim's shameless root beer plug, but maybe try to get a little more back on track here. Brad, obviously you've done a great job growing your brand, and we talked about how much Good has grown, not just for you, but for the entire team. But a lot of our juniors now with NIL, things of that nature, are really trying to work on growing their brands early. So why don't you tell us a little bit about how you grew your brand, and then any tips or advice you may give to people who are working on growing their brand as a junior?
Yeah, I mean, I got very lucky with my situation. With like my personal YouTube, it grew extremely fast, and it's kind of the good effect. Just being a part of good, you get more eyeballs on me and just individually and the group as well. And Instagram following shot up just from being in the videos. So early on, it really wasn't anything I was doing. I was just being a part of the group, playing in the videos, and that was, the good effect. It really helped my brand and following and all that a lot. But I've learned a lot also since the start, and I think for my biggest thing, if people are telling me like they're getting into YouTube, because now some pro golfers that are kind of the same situation as me, where maybe they weren't just making it to that next level, and all of a sudden they see that YouTube's a great opportunity because it's starting to get a lot more better players in the YouTube space. They kind of ask me some tips, and I'm just like, the biggest thing is just to be yourself. If when it comes to YouTube and when it comes to social media and all that, people will see right through you if you try to be something that you're not. For me, I'm not. It takes me when I first meet someone or when I first meet people. I'm not the outgoing one. I'm not the one being the life of the party or always have something to say. Like I'm much more on the quiet side. Just kind of let everything happen and just watch it. But as soon as I get comfortable around people or comfortable with someone, I am much more outgoing. So for me early on, I was just being myself. I wasn't super, I wasn't being someone I'm not. I wasn't trying to be rambunctious or try to talk in front of the camera all the time or anything like that. I was just myself, and then I got more comfortable, and now I'm still being myself. And I think that's one thing. I think that's what a lot of people tend to maybe like about me in the comments and all that. They just know I'm not trying to be someone I'm not. And I think that's big because you have so many people that are trying to be influencers these days and trying to make it viral and all that. And if you do that, being someone that you're not, people are just going to see right through it. It's, people aren't dumb. They can tell whenever someone's being fake, when someone's being genuine. And I think that's the biggest thing, and people, it doesn't matter what personality you have to people. There will still be people that will, won't like you, and there will still be people that will like you depending on, just who it is and whatever. But, just be yourself and let, your following kind of just happen, and obviously if if you're an AJGA, if you're a junior golfer, if you play good golf, that'll obviously help a lot of that. They'll help with your following. But, I'd say, yeah, just the biggest thing, just don't try to be someone that you're not, because people see right through it. And, that can be very, hurtful to maybe not your image, but people can just kind of see the fakeness if you're not just being genuine and being who you are.
Yeah, that's really good. A lot because I think a lot of times people or the juniors may think, "Oh, I got to be the loudest, I got to be the most obnoxious, got to be always on the camera or whatever," and that's what's going to make me, get people to follow me or whatever. So I like that approach a lot. You mentioned a little bit the kind of the comments and things like that. How do you handle some of that stuff when it's not always positive, or kind of how do you navigate those waters a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough at first, just because I was kind of thrown into the whole thing, and like I said early on, I wasn't super outgoing. I was kind of a little more quiet on camera, and some comments were great. Hey, this guy is cool. He's really good at golf, whatever. And then some were like, this guy's a weirdo. He doesn't fit in the group at all, and it's to me, I've really learned, especially after those first few months, it's like there's a lot of people. It doesn't matter what you do, people are gonna hate on you. People are gonna, be behind the computer screen thinking they're invincible and say whatever they want, and it's just part of it. Yeah, you can't take it to heart. You can't, it's. I think Mr. Beast, who's the biggest YouTuber in the world, I mean he gets a lot of hate from literally curing people's blindness, giving people homes. I think he like went to a nation in Africa and like gave them supplied water to everyone, like doing great charitable things for the world. And people still hated on him, saying that he's doing it all for the camera and all for the profits and stuff. It's like it doesn't matter what you do, people are gonna have words to say. There's also a lot of positive comments as well. I'd say with good and with me, there's 95% of it is very positive and very uplifting and all that. But then there's a 5% that just they kind of live behind a computer screen wanting to ruin someone's day, and I don't know why they do it. I don't, I have no clue, but it's just a matter of being able to take those comments and not take them to heart and just say that guy's just wanting to ruin my day, and I'm not going to let him ruin my day. So, yeah, it's just a matter of being able to understand that whatever they're saying, not true. What best as an individual. What where your heart is at, and whatever it is. You just kind of have to take it on the chin and say, it's not true. They're just trying to ruin my day, and I'm not going to let them do that.
I like that. Real quick before we move on, I found in doing some research for this conversation, I found this photo. Can you see that, Brad?
I
That
can.
is your very first AJGA tournament ever. What do you have any thoughts on that event? Do you remember that event?
I do. I remember I was extremely nervous for that event. Because obviously growing up, Jordan Spieth was kind of the role model when I was, 10, 11. He's already out winning AGGAs, and he was kind of obviously the next big thing. and that was my first time to kind of go play. Because whenever people ask me about the AJGA, I always say it's basically the PGA Tour for junior golfers, and so that was my kind of. It felt like my first like PGA Tour event, and it was. I do remember the preseason at Brookhaven. It was fun. I forget how I played. I don't think I played fantastic, but love the OU belt. I remember the OU belt. You know, I wish it hadn't. Now that I'm looking at it, I wish I hadn't worn such a big belt buckle. But I
I
do
mean, that
love
thing
the
probably weighs
OU.
more than you do.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question was, does that thing affect the swing? Because you've got to, I feel like that changes the center of gravity. That's kind of rubbing on you. That thing's massive.
It might have. I don't know why I wore that, but love the idea behind it. Love the Sooners, obviously, and yeah, I guess I had my Tiger Red. Maybe that was the last round. Maybe the Tiger Red outfit, but um, yeah, I remember that. I remember that event pretty well. Again, don't remember what I. I don't think I played great, but yeah, I do remember just being very nervous for it because AJGA was just kind of this, bigger than life organization in my eyes at that time. I was just kind of getting into it, and I was extremely nervous. But that was the start of a really cool 6 years after that.
No, and that's super cool going from something like that. And like you said, you have all those memories with those guys who are now on tour, and you went on to play very high level golf. And for those of you unfamiliar, obviously the only member of Good ever playing the Masters. Love bringing that up, but we have to ask about that experience and have to imagine that maybe was where the nerves kind of peaked for you being on that stage.
Yeah, that was obviously just the best week of my life when it comes to golf so far. It was the most nerve-wracking experience I've ever had, but also the most fulfilling and just enjoyable week ever. Just having my entire family out there, getting to, man, that first tee shot I hit on Thursday. I don't even really remember it that much. I remember going to the tee box, and I was struggling with my driver at that time, which those 2 days actually ended up hitting my driver pretty well. But my biggest fear was, the wind was off the left on number one, and I'm like, I can't hit driver here and hit it OB right. It's like one of the only out of bounds areas on the course. I was like, I can't do that just right off the bat. So I was like, I'm just gonna hit 3 wood, swing as hard as I can, hope I make decent contact, just keep it on property, and just get the round going. And I think I hit my 3 wood 325 yards, which I normally hit it. I think at that time probably 280, 290. It was just pure adrenaline, and still made bogey somehow with an 8 iron in my hands, but it was just the most nerve-wracking, first tee shot, kind of the first few holes. And then once I got going, I think I was 4 over 4, I think. And then the nerves kind of started to settle, and I played better from then on out. But yeah, just the most fun week ever. Augusta National is the, pinnacle of golf, pinnacle of golf courses. It's, golf heaven. Luckily, I was able to go this year to watch on Tuesday, and it's my first time back since then, since 2017 Masters, and it was cool to see it all again. But yeah, just the best week ever. Obviously, I wish I had made the cut, maybe played a little bit better, missed cut by 3, and so I wish I'd made the cut, made the weekend. That'd been made it even more enjoyable. But yeah, it was just the week of a lifetime, and staying in the crow's nest all week. It was just something as a golfer. It's what you dream of as a kid, and it was cool to be able to live that dream.
That's so cool with the especially memories from junior golf days. I know your video arm wrestling Rory kind of resurfaced after his Masters win this year and all that stuff. That's all those memories are just something I think that whenever we talk to alumni from the AJJ is that's the number one thing they bring away. It was a social activity. It was a putting contest. It was like all of these things that are such big memories for them, that they take with them for their whole careers.
Yeah, I mean, there was, I think, obviously the invitationals and really all of the AJGA tournaments I played in, they're all at great golf courses. They're run unbelievably, which is kudos to you guys and all the tournament directors. Um, but like you said, the memory you take from the most are like at the I don't know, I forget what it's called now. Back then it was the HP Boys Invitational at the Woodlands at the Carlton Woods. Uh, the lawn drive contest with the Peeps marshmallows. Like I'll always remember that. At the Thunderbird, they had the cool little setup outside of Greyhawk with the ping pong table, and they had they had ice cream and milkshakes every day. Sorry, my dog is chugging water right now. Um, but yeah, all the outside stuff where you're just hanging out with your buddies that when you're playing the invitationals, you see them all throughout the year. It's all usually kind of the same guys, and almost like a fraternity type thing. You're traveling with them all year. You're playing practice rounds with them. You're hanging out with them after the rounds. You're doing all the stuff with these other competitors, other guys. That it's just so much fun. And like you said, it's just those are the memories you kind of take away from the most. Obviously, when you win a tournament or play well, you're gonna remember that for a little while. But for me, again, it's the stuff outside, the friendships you make outside of the golf that I'll cherish and have for the rest of my life.
Now you'll be happy to know the Peeps long drive is still going strong at Carlton
I saw
Woods.
that.
Now it's the Simplify, but Tim actually had quite the Peeps long drive this year. He hit it a whopping 2.5 feet, and it never got off the ground. It actually caught the lip of the patio and never made it in the air.
I'm a tall guy, okay? That driver was set up for somebody, a little bit more your height, maybe a little shorter than me, but whatever. It happened. I'll own it. It's fine. It's fun still.
But it was a fun time, and it's good to hear that those things too, because I know we always make the push. We want to make sure there's the fun outside of golf, and it sounds like that's really what you kind of took away from it. So it's good to hear that that's kind of the experience that you had, a lot of those memories. And I feel like those stories are kind of our favorite to hear too, when it's always your favorite AJGA event and it has nothing to do with the golf. It's just about those friendships, those guys you got to hang out with outside of it. So super fun there. But we did want to ask, we had a lot of talk and a lot of debate about it going on here. The internet's number one argument at the moment, I'm sure you probably know where I'm going with this, but Tim and I were talking before we hopped on here today about the 100 men versus one gorilla, and just wanted to get your take on it and see where you kind of stand on the debate.
Oh, man, well, it's funny that this all kind of came up now because do y'all know Bubby from Good Good? So I think it was 2 months ago we were in Arizona. I don't know how this came up, but Bubby he's an athlete. Like I think in high school he said he ran like a 4.40. He's a strong dude. He's not super big, but he's super strong. And he's not afraid to tell you that either. He knows he's an athlete. He knows he can lift a lot and run fast and all that. So he's very confident in his abilities. And he made this statement that if what was it? I think it was 40 of them. If he got 40 bubbies, he could take down one T-Rex. And we all just
That's wild.
T-Rex. And it's ridiculous. Like we just had kind of this similar argument 2 months ago, and we all laughed in his face. We're like, Bubby, it's a T-Rex. Like it would just stomp on every single one of the bubbies. But so now that this, 100 guys versus one gorilla, it's I don't think they could do it. I think the gorilla wins. It's like I just don't see. With no weapons, with just your fist and your feet and all that. I just don't see the gorilla having any issue. I think you just go one at a time, just one punch, and on each person, and they're done. I think that's it. So I think the gorilla wins that fight. But obviously, again, Mr. Beast. We'll say it again. I think he's wanting to try it out in the video. I don't know how that works. Yeah, like the liability. I feel like people might possibly not survive that. So we'll see. But yeah, I think the gorilla wins.
I think now that leads me into how many bubbies do you think it would take to beat a gorilla?
A gorilla? Oh man, I'd say confident. I'd say you give me like 200 bubbies. I think one of them. I think they're gonna weaken that gorilla enough.
Well, that's my thing. Like, are you going one at a time? Because if you're going one at a time, then I'd feel like you got no chance. You'd have to go. But how many people can you get on this gorilla at one point in time? I mean, like 10. So really, it's just 10 versus one gorilla, which I think we all know where that's going. So maybe you tire them out, but then you're sacrificing all these poor other dudes who had to go at the beginning of this fight. It's very, very no-win situation.
You can't go one at a time because as soon as that first person gets beat down, no one else is going to go up to that gorilla. So it doesn't matter who you are. I think if I witnessed one person get taken down by a gorilla, I'd be running the other way. So I think you have to do some type of group mentality. You got to get 10 of them on the gorilla and try to like you said, just do your best with that. But I think the gorilla wins.
Wow. Well, I'm glad we could settle that debate. um, we kind of, again, kind of doing our research and stuff on you. We saw that your career low round is a 58. Talk about that. That's phenomenal.
Thank you. Yeah, it was at Belmar Golf Club, which is in Norman, Oklahoma. It was one of the courses we would do qualifying at OU. So we had Jimmy Austin, which is OU's course, and then Belmar, and then this other course that we play at. So those three were kind of our rotation for qualifying. So I played there a bunch, knew the course really well, and it's one of those courses that if you hit it straight, there's a lot of trouble off the tee, but if you hit it straight, it's not very long. You can really score pretty low there, and it's par 70 as well. So, but I mean, I think my lowest score before that, 58 there, probably been 62, 63. So something pretty good, but not, really scaring 50s too much. But that day, it was in the summertime. I was home. Home from my, amateur golf circuit. And me, Thomas Johnson, who played golf at OU, Logan McAllister, who played golf at OU, and then one of Thomas's buddies, we went out there and we're just playing a little game and, having fun on the course. And, I had 12 birdies, so I had no eagles, which there's some eagle opportunities out there on the par fives, but I just made every putt I looked at, and it was one of those times where you just kind of get in the zone as a golfer, and it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it is a lot of fun. You just feel like you can't mess up. You have every drive straight, every iron's right at the pin, and the putt, the hole looks like a 5-gallon bucket. So I just had a great day, and luckily, I wish it'd been like qualifying or in a tournament or something, but it was still a good time playing that well, and it's just a lot of fun whenever you can go low, and especially, I had a lot of nerves once I got to like 9 under, 10 under, trying to get those last birdie or last couple birdies to actually get in the 50s. It was pretty nerve wracking, but luckily I kind of just stayed in the process and just kind of let I was playing good golf, so I just let that do the talking, let it finish out the round, and ended up firing a 12 under 58. So it was a pretty good day.
No, can't even imagine what that would feel like, honestly, on our end. But I would love to think that I'm looking at the hole and seeing a 5-gallon bucket. That would probably be a pretty cool experience for just one time at all, maybe even on one green. But obviously, it takes a lot of build up and a lot of work to get to where you got in your golf career. One thing we didn't really touch on was just how did you get started in golf? What kind of piqued your interest, and where did you begin that career?
Yeah, so my mom played golf at OU back in the 70s. So she was a very good golfer, growing up and in college. And she didn't try to do pro or anything because I'm the youngest of 7 kids. We have a huge family, and my parents were wanting to start a family. And my mom just felt more, destined to go down the, being a family, a mom, instead of, being a pro golfer or anything. So, but she's a very good golfer, has a great swing. And then my dad was a football player at OU, but he was a scratch golfer back in the day. Now he's probably, 6, 7 handicaps, so he's still really good. But so golf was just, a big part of my parents' lives and my family's lives. So my dad, I started when I was 11 months old, and I started walking when I was like 9 months old, I think. And my dad would go out in the front yard every once in a while and go hit chips and just mess around in the front yard. And I followed him out there one day in my diaper, and just kind of for fun, he gave me the club to, see what I would do with it. And I actually stuck it under my armpit and just started swinging away. And they say I never missed a golf ball, even when I was 11 months old. That might be fabricated. I don't know. It could be, I missed some, but then, that story over time grows into, I didn't miss any. So don't know what the truth is in that. But, so I started, hitting golf balls at 11 months old. And then I actually won my first tournament when I was 3. It was 340, his little Pee Wee league they had at my home course. And it was 3 40-yard holes. So 3 par 3s, 40 yards each. And I went 3-2-3. So I went par, birdie, par. Shot 1 under my first tournament round, and won. I think the previous record for that age group was like 19 total, and I shot an 8, so I broke the record. And so that won my first tournament when I was 3, and then played all the U.S. Kids World Championships and all that growing up, and just showed a lot of promise early in golf, and played other sports until I was 12. But then once I hit that age of 12, it's kind of down between golf and baseball, and those swings just don't mesh very well. So, I had to decide one. So I decided golf, and the rest is rest is history. So yeah, golf's been all my life, and I've loved it, ever since I was little. And it's super thankful for the game of golf and what the experiences and everything has brought to me.
How do you, or how did you, I guess, not kind of get burnt out on golf? You're talking about playing from, the age of 2 or 3 all the way up through. What do you feel like was the key to you to not get burnt out? Because you see that, I mean, as you can imagine, so much.
Yeah, I think growing up in junior golf and all that, I think it has to do a lot with my parents and the way they treated golf in my life. They were always just supportive of me. I've seen a lot of parents in the past get a little too involved, at a young age. You'll see, 12 or 13-year-old, and their parent is forcing them to make, a certain amount of putts before they can leave the course. And some of that can be good. Obviously it teaches, hard work and discipline. And I think the parents can play a big role in that. But also if you push too hard, you can kind of make your son or daughter not really enjoy it. It can almost feel like a job at 12 years old, and that's not what you want. You want it to be fun. Even now, YouTube golf has been huge to me because I did kind of start getting burnt out during my 3 years of pro golf because I was just playing awful golf. I couldn't figure it out. I was trying different instructors, trying different things with my swing, and nothing was working. And it really just felt like a job. It felt like a chore having to go out there to the range and chore going to tournaments and all that. And it just was not fun. And that's one thing that I love about YouTube golf. It's really brought that fun back into golf for me. Getting to play the games, like, we spin a wheel to see what club we're going to hit on each shot, and we'll do a tee flip, 2-man, you flip the tee to see which ball you take, and just fun stuff like that really has brought the fun back into it. And I think that's something that junior golfers really need to keep in mind, and the parents as well. It's a game, and usually if you're a good golfer, you're going to be playing your best golf when you're having fun and not worried about things and not stressing out. You're just out there having fun and seeing what kind of game you've got that day. And I think a lot of people, especially junior golfers, just need to take that to heart. It's enjoy when you go to a tournament. You don't need to be stressed out 24/7 about how you're going to play. Go enjoy the cookouts. Go enjoy the activities. Even when you're on the course, just have fun playing. Tournaments. It's memories you're going to have for a lifetime. And when you're 14 years old and then you go shoot an 82, I know it might feel like it's the end of the world at that time, but a year from then, you're not even going to remember the 82, and you're going to be fine. I promise. So it's one of those things where if you get burnt out, it's probably just because you're not having fun with it anymore. And that could be, a personal problem, or that could be, your parents maybe getting too involved and forcing you to do things that you don't really want to do. And that's something that, I think just parents and junior golfers need to keep in mind. It can be very easy if you're not having fun with it.
I think it's a great point that you make, and kudos to you guys for showing the world how much fun it can be, because I think that's really more than anything maybe what YouTube golf has done for the game, has just showed people that maybe otherwise would never have tried the game of golf, that you can go out and have fun. Like, I think most people probably like 5-10 years ago just looked at it as it was this very buttoned up, like had to be at all times very professional thing. And like you guys showed more than anybody maybe that you can just go out and have fun with your friends. Like, it doesn't always have to be this life or death, just super competitive experience. You can have fun with it. And I think that's where we've seen the benefit of YouTube golf and everything, is these people are trying the game that probably wouldn't have, because they just see that, oh, I can just go out, have some fun on the weekend with my friends. And it's a lot more fun than maybe I anticipated just watching on TV, seeing everything all buttoned up. So really kudos to you guys. I think it's really opened up that avenue to a lot of people who maybe weren't going to try golf before.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It's something where, I think even for my mindset before I got in YouTube golf, I think a lot of people can get into the trap of, or I guess before YouTube golf, it was a lot of, you just have to go out there and play your individual ball. Even if you're shooting 120, you got to, finish out and play by the rules and all this. Whenever you're just playing for fun, now I think it's a lot more, people feel more, I guess they feel like they can just go out there with 3 of their buddies, have 4 guys in the group and just play scramble. Like, you don't have to play your own ball. You can go out there, play scramble, have fun with your friends, and just go out there and enjoy the outdoors and play some golf. Like, it doesn't have to be super serious, like you said, buttoned up, play, be very walking on eggshells on the golf course, stuff like that. You can go out there and just have fun. And obviously, there's some still traditions and rules to the game that depending on the club, you need to follow those and all that. But you don't have to treat golf like it's just super formal thing. Like you can go out there and just have a good time, laugh with your buddies, play a scramble, and just try to go make some birdies as a scramble team or whatever it may be. Just go out there and have a good time and just enjoy golf and not necessarily be stressed out about shooting breaking 100 or something. So yeah, I think, and that's also kudos to the other guys who started You Good 5 years ago, because those guys are the ones that really brought this whole atmosphere of YouTube golf into the golf world. And I think they've done a great job, and hopefully I'm helping them grow good even bigger to get that message out to even more people out there in the golf world.
And Brad, what you guys have done is awesome, and we can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing a lot of that. Just before we let you go, I do have one last question. Our producer, Justin, here has been fighting some swing demons, and he's been just grinding on the range. He's been going out playing as many rounds as he can. Somebody that's going through something like that, what advice can you give them to kind of try to get themselves back on track?
Oh man, I mean, I went through my case of swing demons, so I completely understand that, Justin. But I'd say try to make, if you're, I don't know what you're working on, but I'd say whatever you're doing, try to make it as athletic as possible. We can get very caught up in, for me, like I struggled with steep hands. I was always trying to think of like, at the top, shallow them out, all this stuff, when you can just put a tee like outside your ball on like, on the backswing where you don't hit the tee. And it just makes it more an athletic move. It's like you're just kind of seeing and responding. So if you make it more athletic and not so technical, it should help your body and brain just kind of adjust to, swinging it better. But and just be free with it. Just it's easier said than done. But if you're gonna go hit a bad shot, you might as well hit it bad being committed instead of being uncommitted. So you might as well commit to the shot, and if you don't hit it well, so be it. It's just I'd rather go make a bad swing and be committed to the shot than be thinking about all the bad things that could happen. So it's tough not seeing the swing like a video, but I'd say mentally, just do your best to free yourself up.
He's nodding over there, so I think he's going to take that advice. Well, Brad, we really do appreciate you coming on. It was good to catch up with you, and certainly the best of luck to you and good and all the work that you guys are doing.
We appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, AJGA means the world to me. I appreciate everything you guys did for me growing up. So if there's anything I can do to help out y'all in any way, I'm here for it. So just want to pay the favor back for the 6 years of just memories and everything y'all did for me. So I appreciate it.
No, it's great to hear, Brad, and we can't, like Tim said, can't thank you enough. So really appreciate it, and best of luck to you out there. Hopefully you get some better weather here so you can go out and get back to filming, but we really appreciate the time.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Great to have Brad on. I think Justin is actually sending him a swing video as we speak, actually, to get him to rate it. But just an awesome dude. I mean, really good guy. Really awesome what he's been involved in, and how he's grown the game through good.
Yeah, I mean, just great guy. Obviously had the great career, but good to see him be able to talk about kind of that pivot of now still having a golf career, but not maybe in the normal sense people would think of. And so all the fun stuff he's gotten to do. It's just a good crew they got over there at Good. It's just, like you said, it's just fun watching them because they're just a bunch of guys just going out having fun. Really want to get to know Bubby a little bit more now after hearing that. Glad I want to see
T-Rex is wild.
Yeah, 40 guys against T-Rex seems crazy. I'm glad I feel like everyone's pretty much on the same page with the gorilla thing. I think it's just a matter of maybe you get a couple guys in there that can make a difference, but no, just overall a lot of fun. Really glad we had the chance to get him on, and hopefully Justin can get some help here and get back on track.
I mean, the swing's not too far off, I don't think. Just be an athlete, Justin. Just be an athlete. And one thing I really like too is it's kind of a common thing. We've noted this before, but like parental approach to these juniors' careers had such a big impact on them. We talked about that with Justin Thomas. We talked about that with Amelia. We talked about that Obviously, Brad brought that up again. Just the correct parental involvement in the game goes so far when it comes to creating longevity with these kids in the sport, and that's something I don't think we can emphasize enough. Is that approaching your child in the right way it can go a long way when it comes to their career development and them still enjoying the game for many, many years.
Yeah. And a lot of that success just comes out of the enjoyment. Like he talked about, he goes, that's honestly what got him back on track, was just having that fun. And it's something where any sport, no matter what you're doing in general, not just golf, but it's the more fun you're having, you're going to want to go work at it. You're going to want to go practice. And if it turns into a grind and it's something you don't enjoy doing, well, you're probably not putting in as much effort when you go practice, because I'd rather go take 10 quality swings you're committed to than 100 just to take 100. And so I think that's why we see just the support there and everything is great to see, but really appreciate him coming on. It was good to have him. And again, our first guest that's played in the Masters. So
Yeah.
huge.
Big time. That's awesome. Okay, we've got a couple big tournaments coming up here. We've got the Mizuho America's Open, definitely the coolest event we have on our schedule. It's
100%.
alongside the LPGA event. So if you tune into the LPGA event, the Mizuho America's Open, you'll see our juniors playing alongside the professionals. So it's certainly the only time we're on like national television. But it's such a cool opportunity to develop those skills for the girls and those relationships, and then just a phenomenal event.
Yeah, like I said, the opportunity to just play alongside the pros in an actual tournament round is just something that, it's unheard of.
Yeah.
And so glad this is year 3 of the event. So definitely developed into something cool, and the level that Michelle Wee West has invested in that partnership and that connection with the AJGA juniors and doing the media tours with Gianna this year and everything like that. It's just cool to see that they don't look at it as just, oh, that's just this minor part of the event. Like, that is a very much cornerstone of that event for them.
Yeah.
And what it means. So super cool. And like I said, just coolest event we have on the schedule, because it's an unreal opportunity. So I'm very excited for all the girls that get to play Mizuho this year, and looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, and just kind of announced this week an extension of that event too, kind of keep it around for a few more years. So that's really cool to see it grow. Because an event is always cool at the beginning, but if you can keep it around, you can continue to grow. You can do things better. So that's awesome. We have also got at the end of May, we've got the Team TaylorMade Invitational coming up down at Stream Song. So I'll be on site for that one. That's going to be phenomenal. That golf course, those golf courses down there at Stream Song are just really great right there on the resort and everything. And have our top boys in that field. So we got that coming up as well. It should be pretty interesting. I mean, you look at like this event, Nick Dunlap was playing in this event just a couple of years ago, literally like 3 years ago. He's playing in this event, and now he's out there on tour. So that's a cool little connection with that one.
Yeah, and even then, I believe it was at Stream Song when Luke Clanton set the course record, wasn't it? When he came out, shot, I believe it was 62.
Yeah, Luke Clanton.
And that scorecard, again, was unreal, because, we were playing, it was up there like 78, 7,900 yards.
That was the final round, I think.
Yeah, you can make Stream Song pretty long. You can take that about as long as you want to make it. And so it was impressive to see that. I just remember following those updates and then seeing the final scorecard. I was like, holy cow. That's unreal. And obviously now to look, one of the newest PGA Tour members.
I know.
So very excited for him.
Love that for him. I was trying to pull up the scorecard because I think it was just ridiculous what that was. That would have been in 2021 maybe? Oh, I can't pull it up now here, but yep, here. Oh, I found it. Here we go. Luke Clanton. There it is, the 62. He yeah, that's phenomenal. Well, I don't know that I can pull up his final round. Oh, he shot that 62 with a bogey. That's why. I thought he might have had a bogey in there too. So he had like 9 birdies and an eagle and a bogey. Not too bad.
Yeah, heck of a round. It's all right.
Right. Well, that's all I got. Thomas, you got anything else?
No. Good episode. Looking forward to everything coming up and getting kicked off with the summer schedule. Going to be a busy summer for us, but looking forward to getting back on the road. Yeah,
absolutely. Hopefully we see some of y'all out there. Definitely follow us on social media, Instagram, Oh no, I'm doing it again. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, LinkedIn, all those different options. For sure, follow us, and then make sure you subscribe and like, and give us a good rating on Spotify or wherever you listen to the podcast. So thanks, Thomas, for the time this morning.
Always fun, Tim.